The film that I watched for this project is called Glory, produced in 1989 by Edward Zwick. Before I started watching it, I realized that this was the movie that I watched in sophomore year of high school when I was learning about the American Civil War. When I realized this was the same movie, I was very happy because it was one of the best war films that I've ever watched, and it gave me a very deep visual of how brutal and gory the American Civil War was, and happy that I was not part of it. The movie has several famous actors such as Matthew Broderick, who was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and he plays Colonel Robert Gould Shaw. Denzel Washington, who plays an escaped slave named Trip. Morgan Freeman, who plays a gravedigger named John Rawlins. And Cary Elves, who plays Major Cabot Forbes, who is second in command with Shaw. The movie contains many parts of the American Civil War, such as the Battle of Anaheim, where the movie first begins. In the battle, Robert Goldshaw is injured and is basically left for dead. He is then discovered by John Rawlins, and he is sent home back to his family in Boston. When he returns home, he finds out that the Emancipation Proclamation was passed by President Lincoln in 1863. He is asked if he would like to take charge in the 54th Massachusetts Volunteer Infantry, which is the first all-black regiment with black soldiers that are able to join the Union and fight in battle. He agrees to doing this and also receives help from Forbes, his longtime childhood friend. The slaves in the the soldiers in the movie first are very happy to be a part of the regiment because they finally have their time to shine because they did not when they were slaves. While they deal with many hardships such as reduction in pay because of the color of their skin, not having many resources, or being disciplined when trying to leave the regiment, they really proved that they were very brave and worthy of being a part of the war. At first, Shaw is very harsh and tough on the soldiers because he wants them to become real soldiers. After they improve in their training skills, he realizes that they are worthy and finally gets them to be able to fight into the battle. They take place in certain battles such as on Fort Wagner, James Island, where many are wounded or killed, but it was the American Civil War, which is one of the deadliest wars ever. The film itself received 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is a very high rating by many critics. During its 17th weeks in the theaters, it made about $26,800,000, which is an outstanding amount of money for the time that it was in. I really enjoyed this movie because, like I said, it gave me a very big visual on how gory the Civil War was, and also it gave me a perspective on not just Shaw but the slaves itself in the film, because they had many hardships and they really did not have a lot before they were drafted into the regiment. I highly recommend it. I think that it was probably one of the most famous war films ever created in 1989, and it really caught to my attention that the American Civil War was not just about fighting for freedom, but it's really for anything, because if you have your chance to shine, you want to give your best, and that's what the slaves really did. And even though Shaw doesn't really show much emotion in the film, he realizes that the slaves are tougher than really anticipated, and even though he is killed in the movie, he was one of the best Union generals. I also think that Matthew Broderick played a very great role, from transforming from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which is a comedy, into a war film, because not many people can make this transformation. And I think that he was the perfect guy for it. Like I said, I highly recommend this movie. I think someone who is watching the American Civil War will be very appreciated, and they'll really see how gory it really was. That's about it. Thank you.